Hello everyone and welcome to Martin's Home and Gardens Houseplant of the Week. This week we're super excited because our houseplant of the week is something that we have in a lot of different sizes and it's just beautiful. And this week, without any further ado, our houseplant is the Triostar Stromanthe. So we're super excited. This plant is actually native to the Amazon jungle in South America. So this plant kind of likes the humidity, the heat, and all of those fun things that we can give to it. So it's not the easiest plant to take care of, but if you are a experienced gardener or you do have a lot of house plants, it is pretty easy to get into the good niche with this plant when it comes to care. Its Latin name is Stromanthe sanguinea, but it is a member of the prayer plant family, so a lot of times it can get confused for a calathea, but it is not. So that is something to kind of keep in mind. It is a cousin kind of a calathea, so it's going to like very similar care. And if you are really good with calatheas, this would be an awesome addition to your houseplant collection. They do flower. They're kind of inconspicuous. They're not really relevant to why you'd want the plant. With foliage like this, it's what it's known for, not the flowers. But if you do want it to flower, you've got to give it basically the same exact care tendencies as it would get in its native habitat. And even then, it's going to be kind of hard to do that indoors. And they're little bitty white flowers, so they're not that interesting. So I wouldn't really try to put a ton of energy into the flowers. For me, if my houseplants flower and I have them for the foliage, I cut off the flower. Because it really just boosts the foliage to grow. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. You do want it to flower. It's going to flower between March and April. So if you are on the lookout for that, that's when you should be checking it. They only get about 2 to 3 feet tall and wide. So these are actually pretty mature plants. They're not going to grow too much more than this. So we do have these huge options in our store right now. If you have a little area in your house where you want something symmetrical, we have these too. And you could put them in tall planters, make them really pretty. These plants are non-toxic, so it kind of makes them a really ideal option for your home. They are really good if you've got pets that like to chew on leaves. Hopefully they won't, because the leaves are so pretty that you don't really want your animal or toddler to chew on them. But if they do, all is going to be well with the world because they are non-toxic. These plants, when it comes to water, they like to be evenly moist, but not like soggy or saturated. So make sure that if you have them indoors, you've got them in an area where the water can drain evenly. A lot of people will put them in a drip tray with like rocks in it to kind of boost humidity. You can do that, or you can mist frequently or put it in a bathroom. These are very ideal bathroom plants because they do like the heat and the humidity. So if you have a really nice sunny window in your bathroom, these are an awesome option for that. Just make sure there's good drainage or they will get root rot and they will die, and that's not good for anybody. As for light, they're going to want bright indirect light, which we say pretty much every week on Houseplant of the Week. But for these, it means about 6+ hours on a sunny window. They never want bright, like full on sunlight without any kind of filter, because that means that the leaves are going to burn. And the whole reason for it is, it's for the leaves. So you don't want to ruin them by too much sunlight. So I would make sure too that when it comes to light and water, like humidity, you're going to dust the leaves every now and then so that it can get full filtered like light in your window, and then it can also take in that moisture from the humidity. They don't like any kind of dry hot air or air conditioning. So make sure that if it's in the winter, it's not near an air vent where it's going to have that dry hot air. And also in the summer, it's not going to have the air conditioning pelting it constantly. They want a temperature of about 65 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, nothing higher really and nothing lower. So these might not be the best option to stick on your porch in the summertime, and they also aren't going to want to be super cold. So if you like to keep your house lower than 64 degrees, or if you can afford to keep your house lower than 64 degrees in Tennessee, I might not put them anywhere near a drafty area of your house. For the propagation of these plants, if you want more of them, that's awesome. You cannot take a stem cutting of these. It will not work. It will not root. there's no use in even trying. So no stem cutting propagations. However, they are rhizomatous, which means that they have these little bulbs under the soil, kind of like ZZ plants do. Another thing that's rhizomatous is grass, stuff like that. So you can separate them at the base and have more plants. And that's what I would do. If you're going to do that, I recommend doing it in spring, to where it's got plenty of time to, grow and get settled in the growing season before it is fall and winter again. Fertilizing this plant, I would recommend doing that with a nice diluted solution every few weeks, just to make sure that your plant stays thriving. Something that's going to really boost the foliage, nothing with a lot of phosphorus that's going to boost blooming, because it's just not necessary. As for pests and diseases, these are prone to root rot if they're just sitting in water. And aphids and spider mites can occur if there's not enough humidity, actually. Sometimes we think that the humidity and the sogginess will breed pests. That really will breed fungus, but for these that thrive in that kind of situation, they actually get the pests and diseases when they don't have that ideal situation. So make sure that you've got, everything that the plant needs. You won't get aphids and spider mites. If you want to make for sure that you're not going to get those, I would probably just take a systemic insecticide for houseplants, dust it around the bottom, and be done with it, and just treat it every now and then, because the easiest way to control them is to go ahead and scout for them and prevent them before they're there. So these are the Triostar Stromanthe. I would come in and check them out. We have lots of different sizes. We've got 6-inch, 4-inch, and massive ones. So come in, check them out, and ask us some questions. We'll see y'all this week.